Hello and welcome to the Tarkus Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm featuring my new motorcycle here on my YouTube channel. It's a Royal Enfield. It's the 350 model, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment because I first want to talk about my old motorcycle. I had a Kawasaki, a big Voyager. It was a 1700, and I did enjoy that motorcycle. And what I thought this time around, I wanted to go on the smaller end because I wanted something that was closer to my e-bike, which is right there, as a motorcycle. Because I love the versatility of the e-bike, being able to get it places that my big, badass, big Kawasaki really... I had problems getting at places or getting out of places because it was so heavy. You know, even backing up was a challenge with that big beefy motorcycle. So I was like, I want something that I can move around, back up, get into places, and not feel like I have to have somebody push on the front end to get out. Because anytime I parked that Kawasaki on a downhill, let's say the Kawasaki was on a downhill parking spot, it was everything I could to use my legs to back it up because it didn't have reverse. Well, I went with a smaller motorcycle. You're probably thinking to yourself, the 350 probably is a little light for a guy my size. But you'd be surprised with the way they've made this motorcycle. It feels like a 500. It really does, all day long. And you might think, oh, 500 is even small. But for what I need it for, you know, I live on an island. If you've been following my YouTube channel for my e-bike, my Smart Travel e-bike, you'll know they don't really leave the island all that much. And I wanted something that I could tool around the island but get further distance than my e-bike would allow. You know, the e-bike does give me distance, but it doesn't give me like all day, you know, distance. So if I want to go up to Alberg or if I want to go to Plattsburgh, I can do it with this motorcycle. The top speed for this motorcycle is 71 miles an hour. So it's not really put together. I don't think they had interstate driving in mind. I mean, you can get on the interstate with this bike. There's no problem with that because you could easily get to the 65 mile an hour speed limit. It's just that if your max speed is 71, there's not much wiggle room there, right? I mean, and what I found with this bike is when I get it up to about 55 miles an hour, it feels at that point, it's a very, very clean ride. It's the engine's not squealing at me. It's not giving me any problems. I got it up to 65 miles an hour without any problems at all. So I'm really liking the fact that it's a smaller engine, it's a lighter bike. It feels more comfortable in the ways of knowing that it's manageable. You know, it's manageable to be able to move, get out of the way. Right now, I got it parked on my deck. I could never park my big bike here on the deck because it could barely fit through that opening, right? So now I've got this. I'm going to give updates on it as I use it. I mean, it's really slick. Now, there are a couple things that I found with it. And again, this is just learn responses and whatnot. This comes down to the shifter for me. There's a couple things, but we're going to talk about the shifter first. This is the only shifter it has. It's like a standard small bike shifter. My old bike used to have a downshifter for the back heel, so I could upshift by just pushing my back heel down. Obviously, that's gone with this bike. I would like to see this rod longer. I got big feet. What I do with my boots on is I catch this edge right here, and I shift off this edge of my boot. These are my motorcycle boots. So to get my toe to go underneath here, my feet are too big. This rod would have to be longer for me to really comfortably get my toe underneath there to shift. So what I've done here is when I'm using my motorcycle boots is my foot still out this far and I just catch the edge of the boot and I can shift it just fine. So I just would kind of just working with what I have. But I think maybe when I go talk to Sean and see if they actually support one that's a bit longer for someone who's got longer feet. I mean, overall, it's going to be like a learn response for me because I'm so used to using my back heel to upshift. Overall, it's a shifter, you know, it's a bike shifter. And then once you get to speed, you're not really doing much shifting, right? Once you get up to your 50, 40 mile an hour speeds, I mean, it's really just shifting through the gears to get to the higher speed. It is a 5-speed. The distance between the gears, it's amazing. It's like, it's got the gears, but it's like I try to get to the 5th gear as quick as possible. Right out of the gate, I just try to get it to the highest gear, because anything below that, the engine is kind of like talking to you a little bit. You can hear it. This plate here, this digital readout doesn't tell you what gear you're in. So you've got to like listen to the bike. You got to know how the bike talks to you to know what gear. I mean, a lot of people that ride motorcycles don't care about having the gear, what gear you're in here. I think with my Kawasaki, I never really cared either. I never looked. I listened to what the bike was telling me, and I knew if I needed to up gear or down gear. With this bike, it's telling me right off the bat, get it up there, get it to 5 so that you can get over 40 miles an hour and get this thing ripping. I mean, overall, I'm happy with it. Again, I'll give you some more information about it as I ride it more. It looks nice. It feels nice on the ride. Now, my other bike had a windshield, so I'm not really used to the wind hitting me in the chest, so I'm going to have to get used to that. There's no windshield for this. I think there's an add-on windshield that you can get for it. So I'll look into that if it comes down to that. The other thing I wanted to say, that it doesn't have any storage. That was one thing I didn't like about it after I got it, because I had already paid for it and had the title moved over to me. When I asked, does the bike have any storage? And they're like, no, there's not really any. You can't even leave the insurance and registration on the bike. So they do have an aftermarket pouch that you can put here. And I think I'll probably end up getting it, because I'm going to have some storage. There's always something that I'm carrying with me. It'd be my wallet or whatever, or my tablet. I'm not going to ride around with a backpack on. That's not what I like to do. I mean, that's not what I'm going to do. I'll get the pouch for it. Now, the other thing I did want to say that about the motorcycle is that I kind of don't like, but it is what it is it doesn't have the automatic shut off. I guess Sean was telling me this is called a Japanese off switch. So what you do is you make the turn, and then you got to remember to shut it off, but you can shut it off by just pushing the button in. I think I called it a Japanese switch. I might be calling that something wrong, and I don't want to be saying something I shouldn't be saying, but I think that's what he told that. And Sean is the gentleman who sold it to me. He's got Island Auto Haven up the road. He sells these Royal Enfields. That's his thing. He also has a full mechanic shop for cars and trucks. So I've been bringing my cars and trucks to him for years. And I just got out of my Kawasaki. It's 15 years old. It was going to cost more to fix it than it was worth. So I sold the bike for parts, and I picked up this today. Again, it's a 350. It performs like a 500. Now, I've been on many different motorcycles, and this thing does perform. Sean told me, it says it probably would perform like the 500. It's just top speed is what the problem's going to be, is if you want to get on the interstate and you want to get over 70, that's just not going to happen. So this is really for tooling around rural areas like the island that I'm on, where the top speed here on the island is 50 miles an hour. So all day long on the island, on the northern island, the North Hero, South Hero, Alberg, all that's 50 miles an hour. So I can do 99% of my driving on this bike and never come close to the 70 mile an hour mark, right? All right, well, I'll keep you posted, let you guys know where I'm at. Well, thank you for joining me, and this has been the Tarkus Zone.